Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here with your latest update from the Rusty Undergrowth, where today we have a new pie, new Twitch drops, I can tell you what the Spatially Aware Gentleman Club is, and there's a new floating city on the horizon. But first, in answer to some of your questions from last week, yes, you can chop down a jungle tree whilst you're up it, you psychopath. Not that it's any good for your health. Anyway, the jungle update will be releasing next Thursday, the 1st of May, and as such it has now all been merged into the main staging branch. No more beta branches needed, and we've also got a load of new jungle-themed items this week to test, so let's do that. This is all mostly DLC, although I don't have specifics yet on how much it will all be, but we'll know for sure next week. First of all, there'll be a new Cocoknight wood armour skin set coming, which I believe will have all the same base stats, but wrapped up in a coconutty aesthetic, and the colours blend pretty well in with the foliage. I'm sure this would be a bit itchy in real life, and I'm disappointed that running in it doesn't make you sound like a horse, but there we go. It does come with the added benefit in that now there will be wooden gloves to complement the wood armour set, and I believe these will be an item available for anyone. You've also got a new Jungle Idol rock skin, which looks like something Indy would want to put in a museum, and the Jungle Relic assault rifle skin is also part of this pack, giving a new and very detailed lick of gold paint to this item. Perfect for warding off crocs. Actually, they could have done a brand deal with crocs. That would have been awesome. A few of you asked last week whether the jungle update will be coming to console, and I can't really comment on that as I'm not an expert in the state of the console version, but at the current rate I'd say it'll probably make it in by about 2050. Interestingly though, as mentioned previously, I was informed that the mobile version, for which a new trailer was recently released, will be nearly the same content-wise as the PC version currently is, and I'd imagine that the jungle stuff will become available in that a lot sooner, which is quite a thought really. Let's face it though, Rust Mobile probably won't be the least demanding game to run, so you're gonna want something meaty to play it on. And today I've got my hooves on the new Red Magic 10 Air, which wraps the cutting edge of mobile gaming in a sleeker, sexier package than ever before. It may be only 205 grams and have a less than 8mm thick aluminium frame with a subtle matte fingerprint resistant texture, but if you cut it in half it'll be made of pure gaming beef. Powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor along with the Red Magic Red Core R3 for enhanced audio and performance, it slices through anything you care to throw at it. I love bezels, said no one ever, so the 10 Air has hardly any. 120Hz 6.8-inch AMOLED display has an almost 94% screen-to-body ratio, and Red Magic's IceX cooling system with liquid metal keeps everything chilled during all-night sessions, ensuring consistent performance. And there's so much more, I could just rattle off the specs. 520Hz shoulder triggers for enhanced control, a 6000 mAh battery, the largest in its class, with 80-watt fast charging, dual 50-megapixel cameras, and Red Magic Game Space, which lets you fully customize your gaming experience. But to learn more and get your Red Magic 10 Air, please click on my link in the description below, and stay tuned for Red Magic's exciting 10 Air campaign starting May the 8th, where you'll have the chance to win amazing prizes. Back to the video. There are actually a couple of brand new storage solutions coming, which I must say will be exclusive to the Jungle DLC, but which are rather useful. Firstly, half-height bamboo shelves, which at the moment can be stacked indefinitely, it seems. That's too much fun, so expect that to be subject to change. And a new wall-mounted shelf, which is fairly limited as to what can be put on it, as it is rather narrow. Initially, you could put small boxes on it, but this was nerfed, and now only things like trophies and Pookie Bears, lanterns, pot plants, etc. can be placed, although in the commits it is mentioned that there will be larger shelves in the future. And at least in the meantime, you can use these to pretend you're a cat, which might get nerfed as well because heaven forbid there could be any pay-to-win malarkey going on. As shown last week, there's a new obsidian bone knife, which is a reskin for the basic bone one, and there are two new storage barrels, which are basically the same as Frontier, but bamboo and wicker instead, and there will be a bamboo reskin for the full-size salvage shelves too. Some other cosmetics being included in this pack are 2 new sprays, Tiger and Skull, 3 new chat emojis, Hide, Sick and Bush, and 3 new wallpaper skins to tart up your jungle rooms, which are called Jungle Animals, Leaves, and Sigil, which has a nice golden sheen to it. Oh, and there's a new exclusive Beats chest gesture, which I believe will be mandatory to use before swinging on any vines. Also, as shown last week, and which will be a separate DLC, is the new jungle building skin for Stone Tier, which, from your comments, seems like it will mostly be a hit. It's not all DLC though, of course. There will be a few new things that everyone will get, and I'm pleased to say there is a new pie. Actually, there were two, but it looks like crock pie is being removed. Shame. I was looking forward to asking someone to get me one and make it snappy. The big cat pie, however, is new and will give a very interesting new buff in the form of hunter vision, or the eye of the tiger, if you like. And when eaten, animals will apparently leave behind a visual trail that can be followed, although this isn't working yet by the look of things. There are also trophies for all the new jungle animals, with the snake actually being the full creature, not just a head. And in changes to the jungle biome in preparation for next week, it looks like a number of monuments and features like canyons will be able to spawn there, and at the new Ziggurat monument, a ladder has now been added to the center section to allow players to climb down instead of just falling. Let me know what you think to all of this new content and whether you'll be getting it yourself in the comments below, please. But now, to what other things the team are working on this week. And a couple of changes to note. Firstly, sewing kits are being removed from the leather gloves recipe. Turret blowpipe dart effect scaling for rad and incapacitate darts is being set to 0.25 for both effect and duration, probably because it was a bit too potent, and you will be able to use a shield to block snake attacks. According to the commits, spatially varying fog setups are being worked on across biomes, which will also include global atmosphere scattering, which is a very interesting change, and I managed to find out what the Spatially Aware Gentleman Club branch is all about. Currently, if you look into a dark volume, it's not dark until you enter it. The idea is that visuals will better represent the actual environment from the outside looking in too, and most monuments will require a change. More on this when I get it. There's another round of Twitch drops coming on May the 1st, and these can now be viewed on the Rust Twitch drops page. The title is Local Legends, and it looks like they'll all be themed around Rust servers. I'll put a link to the page in the description for you. And lastly, I have mentioned that the team have started working on a branch called Naval Update. That's naval with 2 A's. And as well as mention of a trawler ship, there's now a commit about the initial setup of a floating city. Now, there isn't really anything more to go on apart from this, but it does raise some questions regarding what may come bundled with that and whether or not we might one day be able to build floating bases. What do you think? Then what would you like to see on the sea? Let me know down below. Thanks once again to Red Magic for sponsoring this video, and I would really appreciate your support by checking out the 10 Air using my link below. You're now up to date, and I'll see you next week for a full lowdown on any other changes and the final form of the jungle update. Leave a like and a sub. Check me out on my socials, including my Steam group, and you can support my work here via YouTube membership, super thanks, and on Patreon. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Disappointed that running in it doesn't make you sound like a horse, but there we go.